Oh, Otto. Oh, my God, he's busy. He's going to walk out today. There's no question. All right. Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager with Otto. Trusty, beloved, genius. I take the third one back. He's trusty and beloved. Otto, who is, what's he doing? He was looking right out there. It was a great look he had earlier. He might walk out in the middle, everybody. I just want to warn you that in advance. Anyway, it's the Fireside Chat. I'm the chatter. That's the Fireside. All's good. This is unrehearsed. I could do a whole opening, but I want to talk to you about Russia. But I could do a whole opening.
That's right, Dennis. Talk to us about Russia.
Not enough people will obligated to pay for things. And I don't want to alienate anybody, but I never say things based on will I alienate or not. I say what I believe to be true and important. I'll just give you one example, which just came to mind talking about spontaneous. I try to send some donation to virtually every site I use with any frequency, not if I use it once. So, for example, cameras is one of my hobbies. So there are a few camera review sites that I go to. I send these guys contributions. And it's because I don't want to take anything for free.
Yeah, I mean, PragerU is free, but don't you be taking our content for free, you goddamn nipple suckers, okay? You stealing from the teat.
That's how I was raised, and it's a good attitude to have. So I'm not trying to put a guilt trip on you. I'm just trying to put it in perspective about that. It's a good thing to pay something for what you use. Okay? Go to prageru.com, and we appreciate whatever you give, truly whatever you give. Certainly over $100,000. We really, really do appreciate that. Nah, that was just dark humor. Okay, we don't expect that.
Paladin Lost. Whenever you want to donate is A-okay with me. I always appreciate it immensely.
Nathan is working up to that level of contribution, but not everybody can afford
Shaman,
that.
Thank you for subscribing.
That's why he's known as Nate the Great, because of his philanthropy.
Do need those sweet.
The original was Nate the Great Philanthropist. You know how many now are going to get? And Nate the Great Philanthropist.
Ladybug Dragon, thank you for the 100 biddies.
By the way, if you know a terrific woman around Nate's age, just throwing it out there. He's a great guy. He's good looking. How tall are you?
Like 5'11".
5'11". I mean, he's got everything going for him. Well, not everything. He doesn't date enough. Nate.
This is such a weird segment to call out your cameraman for not being good enough with the ladies. It's just what a weird thing to do. Yo, Michael McAllister, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to It Crygo. I appreciate it. And thank you for kicking off a hype train. But a hype train won't save you this time, chat. A hype train isn't going to save you this time.
What would your parents think knowing I'm hassling you to get married? I'm very curious what they would think. Would they salute me? Okay, good. You got good parents. So let me talk to you about a super duper serious subject, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Just a few thoughts.
Nova, thank you for
my column this week is on the subject if you want to read it in greater detail. There's a lot to say. The most obvious is there's evil in the world. And people they work on denying this fact. Or they call things that are not evil, evil. Like all the woke stuff that, it's evil that there aren't more black coaches in the NFL. Okay, it's not evil. Evil is an invasion of a country. Okay, let's try to get our perspective clear on what is evil. Well, I'll tell you though, I must say there were things that bordered on evil. I thought in the last 2 years. I think giving little kids vaccines, having 2-year-olds masked on airplanes, it's not evil like an invasion, but it's truly life crushing for no good reason. All right, anyway.
Putting children, look, I don't think that jackets are evil, but I do think that putting a child's hands inside mittens is an atrocity. It's not quite on the same level as actually slaughtering civilians in wartime, but trapping a child's hands, they learn about the world with their hands. Trapping them inside woolly prisons is just barbaric. Jesus Christ. Yeah. We need. Oh God. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me about this. I need to set this up as a sound. I'm gonna work on that while this is going on. Salmon Moose, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. This is top tier sound. Top tier Dennis Prager, really. This is some of the funniest he's ever been in his life. If I can find it. Here we go.
Garbage. Pure, undiluted garbage, meaningless drivel, nonsense. That's all they were. Junk. And when I thought, this is what these kids in this preschool are seeing.
I'm just real quick. I need to download that. And all right, here we go. Teach us about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, man.
Putin, I think he's gotten scarier over time. And to be honest, I don't believe he would have invaded if Donald Trump were president. I don't care if you hate Donald Trump.
Just real quick, I want to show you guys a headline. Just real quick, I want to show you guys a headline. This is from 2 days ago. I just want to show you guys a headline. The actual content of the article is pretty interesting too, but real quick, Putin wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if Trump was still president. Bolton says Trump might have pulled the US out of NATO if he had been reelected. Yeah, former National Security Advisor said Trump came very close to leaving NATO in 2018, and Russian President Vladimir Putin was waiting for that. You know, I don't think Putin would have invaded if Trump was still president, says Dennis Prager.
Trump, you still have to be intellectually honest. He didn't invade Ukraine. He invaded Ukraine under Barack Obama. He invaded Ukraine under Joe Biden, but not under Donald Trump. That's a big deal.
Wow, brilliant geopolitical commentary, Dennis. Scintillating. Yeah, I'm sure the decisive factor in not invading Ukraine was Donald Trump being president.
I think that's a pretty relevant fact. I don't care if America is loved. It's a bonus, but I don't aim for it. I would rather have the bad guys of the world fear America than people walk around loving America.
Donald Trump didn't make people fear America. Donald Trump just shat on everybody and then, to quote the great Anna Kasparian, gargled Putin's nuts for the 4 years of his presidency.
By the way, they do love America. You know how we know? Look at how many want to move here. Okay? That's real love. If you want to live in this country, it's not because you have a low esteem.
Most Europeans would never, ever, ever move to the United States. Most Europeans would not be paid to live in the United States.
Low esteem. So that's one aspect, is this is truly evil, and he's a very scary individual, and he wouldn't have done this under Donald Trump because he was scared of Donald Trump, as he should have been. That is the mode of presidency that he exhibited, and that's a very healthy thing, actually. This president kissed his wife while they both wore a mask and thought that was a beautiful symbol of American leadership. I didn't share that view. I was embarrassed as an American. Okay? It all depends on your perspective. What can I say? And there's one other thing worth noting. The environmentalist movement is a major contributor to the invasion. I don't know.
What? Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is chat. This is galaxy brain. This is galaxy brain conservatism. It's not the Russian government that's at fault for invading Russia. It's the environmentalists for banning all of the oil. That, like, the argument for all of these fucks comes back down to, well, look, if we just drilled more in the United States, look, it'd be fine. Like, we'd have energy independence and we'd be fine. Bitch, the United States doesn't need to buy oil from Russia. Like, goddamn. Yeah, this is the biggest brain take. I should shut up and let him make it.
I don't know if there would have been an invasion if Putin did not believe that Europe was dependent on his oil, as opposed to dependent on America for its oil.
Hell yeah, brother! Let's make Europe dependent on American oil, baby! Export all American oil to Europe. To Europe!
The environmentalist movement...
Because as we all know, it's so much easier to transport oil and natural gas across a fucking ocean than via a pipeline between two countries that are connected by land or relatively short distance underwater.
In the day that Joe Biden was elected, we stopped fracking in most instances. And we have a video on fracking, so you will understand how...
Salmon moose? No. The United States is stockpiling oil specifically so that when, the oil wars and the water wars begin, we have a leg up on all of you. That's, like, the reason the United States has a stockpile of oil. It's not so that they can make a massive profit, it's so that we can, wage war when, you know, the fucking apocalypse happens because of climate change.
It is. We were a net...
Oh, also, fracking has never been the oil boon that it has been made out to be. In fact, I'm pretty sure, like, it is like one of the least efficient ways of getting oil. Like, fracking is just kind of absolutely garbage. It's expensive to do. It doesn't see a return on investment. The only reason oil companies do fracking in the first place is because they get government subsidies to do it.
Net producer of oil. Now we in America are a net importer of oil. Would you rather Europe...
Oh, I mean, yeah, Ratkin, absolutely. We should be moving to a greener future. But also, like, for all of the investment Germany has done into solar infrastructure so far, like, we're still a real long way away from getting, like, energy independence from oil. Like, the scale of that change is still massive, massive, massive. Like, Europe still relies on natural gas and oil to, like, get through the winter. So, like, until Europe can be energy independent through a winter time via, like, renewable energy, it's gonna take a lot more changes.
Europe get its oil from good guys or bad guys?
Let's just replay that real quick.
It is. We were a net producer of oil. Now we in America are a net importer of oil. Would you rather Europe get its oil from good guys or bad guys?
This is the worst. This is arguably the worst way of viewing international politics. In a geopolitical sense, everyone is bad. Everyone does bad. Like, the idea that, like, Russia are the good guys, Russia bad, US good, or Russia good, US bad. This is way too simplistic of an understanding for the complex reality of geopolitics. This idea is laughably simple, and it leads to making insane recommendations on the part of like people like Dennis Prager. And I would encourage you, if that is your understanding of politics, good man good, bad man bad, like, do yourself a favor. I don't know. Just don't engage in political discourse, please. There's enough of you out there already. I dislike talking with you immensely. Just don't do that. Okay?
If the bad guys think that they control you economically, they feel that they can get away with anything. That was a huge factor. But there is a fanaticism, and it's really a derangement, the environmentalist movement. It truly is. You know how long now? It's now 32 years that we have been warned that in 12 years, it will be too late to stop the existential threat of global warming. First 1990 with Al Gore's book, Earth in the Balance, I believe that was the name. Then he said 12 years, we have 12 years. Then 12 years later at 2002, nothing changed. We have 12 years and then it's over. It'll be too late to stop the existential threat. By the way, existential threat means threat to the existence of. Denies that it's
oh god, he's gonna be like, the planet will still exist, checkmate liberals.
You believe that? You really believe? I'll bet a lot of you do. It's because it's all you've heard. By the way, no one at PragerU, no video at PragerU denies that the Earth is getting warmer.
Then why don't you like talking about how that's going to affect the planet, Dennis? You know, like, no one here at PragerU denies that global warming is happening. Then why don't you ever talk about the logical consequences of global warming, Dennis? Like sea level rise. The kind of sea level rise that will end the existence of some modern nations. Why don't you talk about the sea level rise that is going to cause millions of refugees within the United States' own borders? Why don't you talk about that stuff, Dennis? Because it seems kind of like you don't actually think that's a problem. And I think it's because you just expect that people who look different than you and who become refugees in a climate change future are just going to be gunned down en masse. That's kind of the rhetoric you espouse. There we go. On your show.
What we do deny is that it's an existential threat. Do you know Bjorn Lomborg, who writes about this regularly in the Wall Street Journal, keeps noting
it is an existential threat to current human society. Current human society. It is likely that human beings will still be able to survive on this planet in 200 years. It's likely that human beings will still be able to have some kind of society, but what shape and what that society will look like is going to be very different from what it currently is. In that sense, human civilization's existential existence is contingent on preserving the climate within a relatively safe boundary. That is a boundary we are rapidly going across.
Fewer people die each year of heat than in any previous year. Well, why? Isn't that important? Far more people die of cold, incidentally. By the way, the giveaway that the environmentalist movement is interested in simply restructuring society is the fact that they're opposed to nuclear power. If they really believed that we have to get off fossil fuel, then they would be the biggest advocates of nuclear power.
This is true. And also, nuclear power is based in good, and we should embrace it. At the very least, we should embrace nuclear power as a means of transitioning us away in the short term. In the long term, let's embrace a transition from nuclear to like solar, wind, etc. But we are really in a position right now where we need to embrace any and everything we can to get away from climate apocalypse. So, yeah. See ya, Possum Shaman. I hope you have a good night. Adios.
Completely non-fossil, completely clean, to use their term, and they're against it.
I mean, it's not completely clean, but it doesn't add carbon to the atmosphere, and that's kind of what we really need to prioritize right now.
In your lifetime, it is unlikely solar and wind can power a whole world, the whole world. It's a fairy tale. Nuclear power could. And
the main issue with nuclear power is it takes a really long time to build a nuclear power plant, as opposed to how long it takes to set up wind turbines or solar arrays. But again, this is why we need to embrace any and everything we can to transition to a green future. Hey, Fox of Fate. Yeah, exactly, Nova. I think that nuclear energy and nuclear reactors should be embraced in the short term to transition us away from carbon dependent energy production. In the future, we can move away from nuclear power plants and like embrace, I don't know, fusion power plants. Those will probably be a thing by the time we get around to transitioning away from nuclear reactors. Salva Ukraini. True. Let's see. I want a news release. Real quick. Oh, weird. Huh. Maybe you shouldn't listen to Dennis Prager when it comes to oil being imported. Or exported. My bad. Maybe he's correct. Oh! It's true. Maybe we shouldn't import oil. Maybe we should build more nuclear power plants. Horrendous. The worst person you know just said something correct.
Germany got rid of its nuclear plants and became dependent upon Vladimir Putin.
Germany was still dependent on Vladimir Putin before they got rid of their nuclear power plants.
Okay, there's a lot more to say about all of this. And I'll say one more thing. Maybe Ukraine has awakened some people in the West to how precious freedom is. People forget it. In fact, a lot of people have contempt for liberty. Like free speech, the most important liberty of all. Just a thought. I have here a letter from a 10-year-old, which is adorable. And the powers that be, the people who really run the fireside chat, suggested that I read parts of it to you. Dear Mr. Prager, which is already charming. Kids should call adults Mr. They just should.
I mean, KBS, I feel like there are other ways to heat homes with just electricity and not natural gas. I feel like that's a thing that we have the technology to do.
I did, every adult. It was so hard for me to call my parents' friends by their first name when I got older. I'm not, I did it, but I always felt I was being rude. Anyway, hello to you. This is handwritten, printed out in pencil. Hello to you, Megan, and her arm. She was very moved. Oh, this is from Josiah. Hi, Josiah. Nate the Great, Otto, and Snoopy. Oh, and Dennis's arm doesn't count. There you go. It's a 10-year-old effort at humor. And I think it's good. I thought it was damn good. I live in Tustin, California. I love the fireside chats, and I like the episode Deconstruct.
Oh shit! We got an inside operative, Mint Kuro. Why would you betray us by writing into Dennis Prager? Megan, what are you doing?
John Oliver on Israel, or something like that. If you like that segment, you're precocious. 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 Right? 10-year-olds are writing about deconstructing John Oliver on the Middle East? That's impressive. I salute you. You're my kind of guy, Josiah. And let's see, what else? Let's see. My comment on Otto leaving in the middle of a fireside chat is no, with 6 exclamation points. That's my comment on his leaving. Oh, no. What timing? No. Well, I shouldn't have mentioned it. We're all going no.
Run, Otto. Run as fast as you can. Get out of there. You deserve so much better.
You can hear the pitter-patter of the famous Otto feet as Nate opens the door for him. I hope Otto thanks him. Well, anyway, it's thank you so much. There's more here, but I have to move on. By the way, let's see, what else did he write? Let's see. One question. What do you think are the top...
Lily loves stuff. I would make it faster, but they've moved Dennis Prager over to the PragerU website, so I can't make Dennis faster. It's not on YouTube anymore. I don't have playback speed options. I don't even have volume control options. It's just mute or unmute. Those are my 2 options. Why are we being tortured? Because we didn't hit a level 5 hype train, baby.
5 ways to win the war on Christmas. Hope to see you when you speak in California. Sincerely, Josiah. So, we have his last name here, but I'm withholding it. By the way, it's really adorable. He has an arrow next to the city he lives in, an arrow in the margin, and goes, I'm 10 years old. It's really great. I can't come up with 5 right now, but I'll give you 1 that would really, really, really help. I'll give you 2, actually. 1 is that people say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays. If somebody says Happy Holidays, answer Merry Christmas and wish people that. Call your business party a Christmas party, not a holiday party. Call your vacation a Christmas vacation, not a...
What if it's a holiday party, though? What if you're celebrating, I don't know, like Christmas, Night of 1,000 Cheesies? You could be celebrating Xmas. That's a different thing, apparently. You could also be celebrating Hanukkah. You could be celebrating the winter solstice. You could be celebrating, I don't know, there's a bunch of different holidays. They all happen around the same time.
Holiday vacation? That would all be a big help. And I'm a Jew saying this, just for the record. But
Yeah, it
Christmas
includes
is
New
the
Year's
holiday
too,
of the
dumbass. Festivus.
A, it's a national holiday, and I'm a member of that nation called America. B, the vast majority of my fellow citizens
could be
treasure that holiday.
Celebrating having just
I treasure it too, actually.
True.
So there's no reason I wouldn't be a big advocate for it.
Yeah, Dr. Gamble, the war on Christmas continues, even into March.
The other thing is if people started again decorating their homes for Christmas. At least where I live, there are very few decorations. When I grew up, every home practically had one, and it was
Happy holidays.
You
except
knew
for
it was Christmas season.
Go fuck
it was
yourself.
Great. So this week is the publication of my next book. This week, it's a big deal. The Rational Passover Haggadah. By the way, it opens right to left. Don't get confused if you order it, because there's Hebrew text in it, and that goes right to left. This deals with some of the greatest issues of life, like just my Rational Bible series. This is the service of the oldest holiday in the world. Clearly, Jesus observed it. For those of you Christian, it's probably...
Okay, but counter-argument, KBS. What if you argued the management that you guys should get a Christmas party, a Hanukkah party, an Eid party, a Festivus party, and the New Year's party? You could have 5 times the parties. 5 times the parties. That, you know, maybe that'd be good. Depending on how good your company parties are, I guess.
The Last Supper, the Passover Seder. So if you want to understand life and ritual and God, and you like my Rational Bible series, you will love this. The Rational Passover Haggadah. The Haggadah is the service of the evening, but you can read it at any time of the year. And now to your questions. We begin with, hello.
Hi, Dennis. My name's Jazz. I'm 27 and I'm from Bristol in the UK. As 20...
I'm sorry. I've been thrown... Look, I was thrown by a lot of what just happened on screen. We're going to back this up real quick. I'm going to break down what just happened.
Any time of the year. And now to your questions. We begin with, hello.
Hi, Dennis.
Okay. First of all, my initial reaction is that this is like a 12-year-old.
Dennis, my name's Jazz.
My name is Jazz?
27 and I'm...
You're 27. You look extremely not 27.
from Bristol in the UK.
The UK? That place isn't real. I just know about it from stories like Gulliver's Travels and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, all of which are works of fiction.
As 27, I'm quite late convert to conservatism.
Nova. That's true. This is big turf energy. I'm a late convert to conservatism. Big turf talk incoming.
I was previously a hardline leftist, and I wondered what you could advise for me to do to catch up with all the people who've had an earlier start. Thanks very much.
Thank you. That was great. That's a great question.
I've been to London. It's real. I disagree. The greatest lie that has ever been told is that England and the UK is a real place, okay? What they do, if you get on a plane that takes you to the UK, it's actually just like, you know, they put like a backdrop around the plane to make it look like it's going, and then they just rumble it a lot. And then they put you on like a, I don't know, like a 6-mile square lot somewhere in undisclosed area of Germany. Yeah, there we go. Then who did America fight a revolution against? That's easy. The people crabs.
Jess, thank you. Is it Jess or Jess? Jess, right.
Okay, Jas. Is that short for something? Or is Jas a name and I'm just not aware of it?
Well, first of all, you're
I'm just going to drive down to the gas station, to fill up my car.
not exactly behind much. You're 27. If somebody 67 said, I just realized I had...
It's short for Jessica. Yo, but why would you shorten your name to Jas from Jasmine? Jasmine is such a beautiful name. I don't know. That's just me, though.
advocated some pretty odd things my whole life. That would
Yeah, a lot of weird names in a fake country. Very true.
be bad. You're 27. Don't worry. So this is not self-serving. It's an honest answer. Watch every PragerU video. You will catch up to
The only people who think Jasmine is a cringe name are people who have dated a Jasmine and it went poorly. And that's fair. No shame.
left way of thinking very quickly. Watch some of them twice. Read associated works with them. I think same thing with the fireside chat. If you, what number are we, by the way?
228.
228? Wow.
Yeah, just spend 100 hours watching only PragerU fireside chats.
Binge watch or binge listen to the fireside chat. That is another way of doing it. And
if England isn't real, how do you explain a scouse brow? I think you just made up that term.
all of that's free. The only thing that would cost you money is to read my book, Still the Best Hope. That's the book that moved Julie Hartman, that Harvard girl.
Yes, PragerU isn't just kinda cringe and homophobic. It's extremely cringe and extremely homophobic.
To conservatism.
Which is
It
why we pay
explains
attention
the
to it.
left and it explains America and their value systems. It's called Still the Best Hope. And I worked very, very, very hard on that book. So then...
And I wish I was as innocent as you, Lily Love Stuff, and didn't know what an Abraham Lincoln was. But I do. And I'm not referring to the historical figure.
There are so many areas to branch out. Read, go to great websites on the internet. There are so many wonderful conservative websites. And you will catch up very quickly. You know why? It's not complex. There are some basic principles like love of liberty, for example, that just make perfect sense. I met a guy, I don't know if I told the story on Fireside Chat, but I don't expect you all to remember. I don't. And I'm the speaker. So I remember what airport, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm tall, 6'4", and I think this guy was taller than me. Because it always makes it...
And Mara Faye, thank you for subscribing. And that's the best advice I can give you, chat. Subscribe through the agony and the pain. You will get cute emotes to use in chat as a result.
Impression on me. If I meet somebody taller than me, I never forget it. And he was a really good-looking guy. And I'm a guy, and for me to think a guy is good-looking, he's got to be really good-looking.
Dennis Prager gay arc? An unexpected twist.
Because I don't tend to check out men's looks. Anyway, he was a really good-looking guy, and he stops me, and I would say he was 30.
He was just hot. He had those real... he had real DSLs going, Just... I don't usually pay attention, but I just couldn't stop looking at his lips. It's just something about him. I wanted to say, Father, please.
He goes, "Oh, Dennis Prager, I love your work," and it was very sweet. He had a tiny, tiny accent. His English was perfect, but I could tell he wasn't American. So where are you from? Norway. And I'll never forget what happened. I say to him, Norway? There are conservatives in Norway?
Yeah. there are surprise, there are neo-Nazis in Norway as well. There are a lot of people along the political spectrum in other countries. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, KBS. Yeah, one of them is one of the most notorious murderers of all time.
And he says to me, I don't know if I'm conservative. I just know it makes sense. That's all you need to know. I don't care if you call yourself conservative. Just do what makes sense, and you'll end up having our values. That's the key thing to understand. You follow reason, goodness, and common sense, you will end up with a conservative position every single time. Candace, 43. Jazz was 27. Candace was 43 and says, I reside in the birthplace of James Dean, Fairmount, Indiana. My theory is every place in America has a claim to fame. Birthplace of James Dean. There you go.
Every place typically has some kind of claim to fame. It's typically why towns get made and shit.
Oh. Hello, Dennis, Otto, Megan, and Snoopy, and the young single guy I can never remember behind the scenes. You would remember him if you saw him. You know, Nate, you're going to have to...
What the fuck? Why does Dennis Prager want to fuck his cameraman? What?
Birthplace of James Dean. There you go. Hello, Dennis, Otto, Megan, and Snoopy, and the young single guy I can never remember behind the scenes. You would remember him if you saw him.
Why are you saying it like that, though? Why are you saying it like that, Dennis? Dennis Prager gay art.
You know, Nate, you're going to have to show up. I'm not joking. You can't remain invisible for...
I'm not joking, Nate. You better get in front of one of these cameras, or I will fire you.
For the rest of the life of the fireside chat.
They know his hand now.
They don't know his hand.
He waved once.
Okay, once. If you wave regularly, that'll be fine. You know what? I'm going to write to your parents to send me a picture of you. And even though you're in the room, I'll show the picture.
That's so fucking weird. It's such a weird thing to do, Dennis. What the fuck? Also, yeah, it's me, Natalie Marie. I told you that I knew what it was, and I don't know why you looked it up. Just inflicting that mental damage on yourself.
And Mrs. Prager. That's a riot. You're funny, Candace. She is never in the videos, but she puts up with the weekly disruption in her home. This is classic from a woman. There is no man in the world who would write that and note that. Correct? None. But a woman immediately would think, oh my God, and you're entirely right. She puts up with the disruption. That's exactly right. I wish she would come on. Write millions of letters to me. Put Mrs. Prager or put Sue on. Oh, I would do a whole thing just talking to her. It drives me crazy that she doesn't want to do it. You know, I have a great line about people and her and me, people and she and me, or people and she and I. No, but I did about, so I'll forget it. And the line, I analyze grammar as I speak. So here is my line. They come for Dennis, but they stay for Sue.
Dennis, let's be honest. No one has ever come for you before. But low-hanging fruit, chat. Low-hanging fruit.
Isn't that a good line? And it's true. The only one who doesn't, you know who doesn't come for Dennis? The two dogs.
I would hope not. I would hope not. Fuck. Oh, God. Oh, Paul Squall. Thank you so much for the gifted sub to Fash Basher. Please, somebody help those dogs. Help get those dogs out of that home. Dennis is doing unspeakable things. Oh, God.
When we come home at every night from, wherever we go to eat or whatever, usually eat out. It's exactly deja vu. Exactly. It's truly Groundhog Day. I open the door a little bit, and then Snoopy opens the door the whole way, and followed by Otto, and they both go right past me to Sue. It is as if I do not exist. I am a wood sculpture. Okay.
That could have gone.
In last week's chat, you talked about Canada and the tyranny they are enduring. The Canadian people are our allies and immediate neighbors. When can we call the tyranny a threat to our allies and liberate them?
Oh my God. Dennis, when can we take up arms to liberate our Canadian brothers and sisters? When can we finally invade the Great White North? Dennis, tell me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I have my civilian-owned tank along with my RPG launcher. It launches Final Fantasy VII. Bad joke. Gonna move on.
I'm not for sending in troops to Canada, just for the record. Obviously, this is mostly a satirical question, but I honestly want your opinion on this. Sincerely.
Oh God, I have no idea what fancy cocktails are named, so I wish I could help you there, Joe. Maybe someone else who knows fancy cocktails can help you out.
Candace. The truth is, we got influenced by the Canadian truckers more than we've influenced Canada to be free. Canada got a lot of its woke and liberate them. I'm not for sending in troops to Canada, just for the record.
I mean, I'm glad he at least said it.
Obviously, this is mostly a satirical question, but I honestly want your
It's genuinely not.
Opinion on this. Sincerely, Candace.
Yeah, explain the satire to us, Dennis, please.
The truth is, we got influenced by the Canadian truckers more than we've influenced Canada to be free. Canada got a lot of its wokeness from the United States. We used to export great ideas to the world. Now we export wokeness. It's a very big change in American life.
Dennis, literally like half of your talk about the victory of the United States is how the United States has exported its culture to every other like country on earth, whether it's like blue jeans or Hollywood movies. And like then you're like, oh, but other countries are getting woke now. Well, yeah, motherfucker, it's because we export our culture. That's like the thing we do here. That's it. Oh no, people are learning that like our movie characters want you to be decent to each other. Oh no, what if they watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and learn that all human beings, regardless of differences, should be excellent to one another? Oh no, we've been exporting wokeness since the 1980s.
Too bad. kid.
Well, yeah, but Ratkin, that would require Dennis Prager to acknowledge that capitalism is exploitative, which he does not. So we're not look, we're not going to get that far. What movies have subtexts? Yeah, exactly.
At 14, Wasilla, I assume that's Alaska. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Prager. I recently listened, 14 years old, did I say that? Yeah. I recently listened to a past episode in which you stated that boys are taught to control their aggression, but girls are not taught to control their emotions. God, that she heard this at 14?
Women have to control their emotions so tightly. Women put up with so much goddamn bullshit on a day-to-day basis. It's really remarkable. Really remarkable. You know, like, I'm sorry, if a woman gets angry or frightened in public, a lot of times they clamp that shit down. They don't express that shit. Because you know why? It could be dangerous for them to do so. Because men aren't tamping down their aggression as much as Dennis likes to say they are. Okay? Look, if you're in public and a man like catcalls you and like starts following you around, like, yo, you can't express your aggression. Like, that guy could fucking murder you. Like, and by the way, if you don't think that, like, men are creepy and do shit like this all the time, they do. They really, really do. And I was talking about this with my girlfriend the other day, but, like, I think a lot of men tend not to realize how much women get targeted. Not just for, like, sexual assault, but for, like, a whole wide range of different behaviors. Whether it is sexual assault, kidnapping, just being violent because you can, whether it is any array of these different activities, like even emotional abuse on a stranger, you know, like catcalling someone is indicative that something is not okay in the catcaller's mind, you know? It's really nonstop. It really is. And instead of being able to live in a world where women can express how that makes them feel or communicate that, no, women gotta tamp that down, and they gotta do what they gotta do to survive, which often means adopting, like, survival mechanisms, whether that's carrying weapons, carrying defensive sprays or a gun. Like, yeah, women have to do that shit all the time, and it really is nonstop. I mean, look, I don't know if it's just me, but I had the experience as, like, a 13, 14-year-old walking around in public with my with my cousin who's a lady. And my cousin, who is around my same age, like, I think like a year, 6 months, 9 months younger. And at like 14 or 13 years old, men would honk their horns at her and, like, yell shit out of windows at her. And, like, it's often directly targeted towards girls and women who don't have the ability to fight back, who are more vulnerable. And it's the idea that women aren't taught to rein in their emotions. That's, like, literally all women are taught to do. in order to be safe. And by the way, caveat, obviously men are subject and victims to abuse along those lines too. It's just not quite as widespread, quite as common, but this stuff affects all of us, you know, because we live in a society. And it'd be great if we could just recognize that this happens and be able to address it instead of just coming up with snappy catchphrases like, men are taught to rein in their aggression, but women aren't trained to reel in their emotions. What a wacky world we live in.
What a blessing. And it's impressive that you would retain it. What do you recommend to young women who want to increase their control over their emotions? Thank you, and please give Otto and Snoopy a rub for me. Well, you've already achieved 50% of it. You know you have to. Most women in our society, in our time, I don't think this was always true, but I think it is in the last 50 years, don't even know that they have to control their emotions. So half the battle is to be aware that you have to control your emotions. As I've said all of my life, men know they need to control their sexual nature and their aggressive nature. And every parent knows that. But then you ask parents...
Just as an FYI, if you're a conservative and you made it this far in this video, understand that he is just calling you, as a man, inherently predatory and inherently rapey. Just want you to know that that's what he's saying. He's saying that, like, if you weren't instilled with the idea of not raping, you would be going around like a fucking animal, raping every woman or tree hole you see that looked vaguely inviting.
It's okay, what does your daughter have to control? And they're stumped. Like, girls come out perfect and boys come out flawed. Both sexes come out equally flawed, just in different ways. So you're already halfway there, just knowing that you have to control your emotions. That when you think about something, you must think about it rationally, not just emotionally. Emotions make us human, but we can't be guided by them. So you're already half the way there. That's right. Control your emotions. Men need to
repress yourself, woman. Otherwise, you're basically just asking for it.
Control their emotions too. That's the biggest issue, the emotional control. Okay, Anna, 47.
What a fucking insane ideology and viewpoint to have on human development. Keep in mind, chat, he's talking to a 14-year-old girl. All of the things he just said were to a 14-year-old girl. Basically just telling her, you need to control your emotions, because otherwise you'll just be willy-nilly. You'll be asking for it. And men, they have to control themselves around you, because otherwise they're going to try and rape you. And, like, that is distilled what he had to say right there. Never let your children watch conservative propaganda. It's so fucking gross.
Sacramento, California. How do you remain grounded living in La La Land and in this state? I'll tell you exactly how I remain grounded. The same way I would if I lived anywhere. I have grounded principles. And, you know, religion is a big part of it. It's not the only part of it. And the other big part of it is kindred spirits. I stay in Los Angeles because I have so many people I love here. And I mean love. And many people love me.
Dennis, you literally just finished talking about how you shouldn't let emotions guide your actions. Like, literally like a sentence ago.
Hopefully the ones I love. And that's how I remain grounded. I am not directly affected by the wokeness of California. I mean, I was because of the mask mandates and that stuff to a certain extent. And of course the tax.
How generous of him not to feel disgusted by the sight of a gay or trans person. How fucking beneficent.
Taxes, which are ruinous. But other than that, I live a very normal life here with a lot of great people in my life. So that's how I look. If you moved to a better state in the United States, if you moved to Texas or Florida or any others that share those values, you'd still have the issue of are you grounded? And that's an important thing to work on. Wyatt, 19, Spring Hill, Tennessee. Hello, Dennis.
Also, why is he sniffing through this video? You got a cold? You still have COVID, my dude?
I'm a young man that's consistently attended church. I believe in God and the values of the Bible seriously. However, those who attend my church are significantly older than myself and share little to no.
Look, Sly, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope like that.
One of my age group. Okay, I'm reading as it's written. How do I find like-minded people my age, he's 19, whom I can connect to and share my values at a church? Thank you, Dennis. I enjoy listening to your insights about life on the Fireside Chat every Thursday night. It is a problem. I acknowledge that. So I would have to ask the Christian young people at PragerU how they meet kindred spirits.
One is Prager Force. They can join.
Oh, they could join Prager Force.
Online community, and they also meet up together.
Yeah, that's a great. I'm glad I posed it publicly. The question. Yeah, that's right. You're the perfect age for Prager Force. Meet terrific young men and women from all over the world. Everything is a matter of kindred spirits. If you don't find them at church, find them on the internet. Find them at Prager Force.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm sure telling a lonely 19-year-old Christian conservative fundamentalist to find kindred spirits online isn't going to lead them directly to becoming a Nazi. But you go off, King.
They're there. Look, it's a lot easier to do at your age than much older, when people just look around and they don't know where they could find friends. But there's a problem with the church because a lot fewer young people go to church than in the past. I have a lot of theories on that. Religious people have not really figured out how to convey the religion to the next generation.
Well, no, religious people have been continuing to convey religion to the next generation. It's just that a lot of the fundamentalist strains of religion are incredibly homophobic and transphobic, and most people know, like, you know, gay people or trans people. Like, just statistically, most of you know gay and trans people who you like and wouldn't want to just, like, be assholes to. And that's a much harder sell. It's a much harder sell than it used to be.
I'd like to address that. That's why I wrote my Rational Bible, because I use reason to convey these values. And
it's true, Return to Monkey. We are going to turn the world into moon Nazis. And then they will ascend via rocket to the moon, where they will live out their pitifully short lives.
Works. Well, I hope you get the Rational Passover Haggadah. I hope you'll contribute to PragerU. I hope you'll have a happy week. I hope Ukraine gets enough.
Oh, Prager has an honorary ticket. Return to Monkey.
Tank destroyers to not have their major cities conquered. A lot of hopes. But they're giving people in the world a lot of
God, Dennis, you need to go take a nap.
encouragement. People love to see people who are strong. You know that the president of Ukraine was a comedian, a professional comedian. That was his work. And as I write in my column, the president of the United States prior to Mr. Biden was a real estate developer.
That's pretty generous to Donald Trump's previous employment.
Whether you like Mr. Trump or not,
I mean, another way of describing Donald Trump's history is a businessman who went bankrupt 13 times. So, yeah, not, you know, saying he's a real estate developer is pretty generous.
was courageous. He went against the whole world and against the State Department to move the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem.
Dennis, I know Dennis Prager gets like fucking rock hard over that move. But understand that it comes from a place of wanting to appeal to evangelicals in the United States, and understand that the evangelical position on moving the embassy is literally that way because of end times prophecy, in which all of the Jews are obliterated in Armageddon. So, like, yeah, it's just so good for the state of Israel, guys. Except the fundamentalist evangelical position is that, well, we're only doing this so that we can literally kill all Jews. Yeah, it is we support Israel so that we can kill all Jews. That is the position of the fundamentalist Christianity in the United States. And I know a lot of people are gonna like be shocked about that, but that is quite literally the position of the politicized evangelical movement in this country since the 1970s. Lunacy.
It was the only American embassy not in the capital city of a country. Maybe it's not a great idea to have professional politicians. Just something to think about. Maybe comedians and real estate developers, on average, will have more courage. Just a thought. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Dennis Prager.
Just a thought. Might be a bad one, but I'm throwing it out there. Don't like it, throw it right on back.